Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a truly fascinating journey straight inside the human body, directly based on our source material. We're going to systematically unpack the absolute engine of life, the human circulatory system. If you've ever found yourself wondering how your body efficiently keeps going day in and day out, delivering oxygen and nutrients exactly where they need to be, well, you're in the right place. We've distilled the science into a clear visual journey today.
Okay, let's dive into this. How does a simple pump power your entire body? I mean, on the surface, it sounds almost too simple, right? Just a single organ sitting right there in your chest. But the human heart is the ultimate biological solution for distributing energy to every single system you have. Today, we're going to trace exactly how it accomplishes this monumental task, step by step, starting from the very moment blood returns to the heart.
To really wrap our heads around the system, let's introduce our hero for this journey. Think of an exhausted drop of blood. Imagine this drop has just finished a long, hard trip around your body and is finally arriving back at the heart. We formally call this deoxygenated blood. Why? Because it's already dropped off its oxygen to your cells and is now carrying carbon dioxide waste away from your body parts. It's totally depleted, it's full of waste gas, and it desperately needs a recharge before it can do anything else.
So, how does this exhausted, deoxygenated blood actually get inside the pump? Well, first off, it enters through the vena cava. The superior vena cava brings blood down from the upper parts of your body, while the inferior vena cava brings it up from the lower body. Both of these pathways dump this deoxygenated blood right into step 2, a chamber called the right auricle. Once the blood pools up there, the heart gives a squeeze and the blood drops right down into step 3, the right ventricle.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because our exhausted drop of blood absolutely cannot stay in that right ventricle. It needs a recharge. So the right ventricle contracts and powerfully shoots the blood out of the heart through the pulmonary arteries. And its destination? The lungs. This is a highly critical trip because you see the heart itself actually can't recharge the blood. It relies entirely on the lungs to do that heavy lifting for us.
And that brings us to the absolutely crucial power-up phase, which our source material refers to as purification. When that carbon dioxide-heavy blood reaches the lungs, an incredible swap happens. The blood drops off the carbon dioxide, which, you eventually exhale out of your mouth, and it mixes with the fresh oxygen that you've just breathed in. In an instant, our exhausted, deoxygenated blood completely transforms. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't just transform, it completely resets. It becomes pure, oxygenated blood, totally recharged and ready to be put to work again. But here's the catch. The lungs aren't a pump. To get this fresh, highly oxygenated blood everywhere it needs to go, it has to make a triumphant return back to the heart. It flows from the lungs directly into the left auricle. The left auricle then squeezes, dropping the pure blood down into the left ventricle. From there, it's loaded into the chamber, preparing for the big blast out to the rest of the body through a major vessel known as the aorta.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a fascinating anatomical detail. The walls of the ventricles are slightly thick because they have to handle the immense pressure to send blood to the whole body. Those auricles at the top, they basically just receive blood and drop it down. But those bottom chambers, the ventricles, they are the pure muscle of the operation. They require thick, incredibly powerful walls to generate the massive physical pressure required to blast that blood all the way down to your toes and all the way up into your brain.
And the pipe capable of handling all that intense pressure? Well, that brings us to the aorta, which is literally the largest artery in the human body. You can really think of it as the main biological superhighway. That thick-walled left ventricle contracts with unbelievable force, pushing that freshly oxygenated pure blood directly into the aorta. From there, it branches out, getting smaller and smaller to deliver life-sustaining oxygen to the total system of your body. But what actually happens when that oxygen-rich blood finally arrives at its destination? First, it reaches all the different body parts. Once there, it uses that freshly acquired oxygen to oxidize the food you've eaten. And that specific oxidation process, that is exactly what converts your food into actual, usable energy. So this entire massively complex journey is fundamentally about delivering the key ingredient, oxygen, that unlocks the energy stored in your food so your body's cells can actually function and survive. So the crucial point is the number 2. Over the course of everything we just mapped out, from the exhausted drop of blood arriving, getting sent to the lungs, coming back to the heart, and finally being shot out to the body, the blood actually entered the heart 2 completely separate times just to complete one full cycle. first on the right side and then later on the left side. Let's zoom out for a second from our single blood drops journey to look at the formal biological term for this whole mechanism: double circulation. This is a system where blood circulates 2 times in the human heart during one complete cycle. It's not just one continuous circle, it's effectively a figure 8. And it's an amazingly efficient biological design to ensure that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood never, ever mix together, and that the high pressure needed to reach your extremities is perfectly maintained.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this double system is essentially 2 distinct loops happening at the exact same time. On the left side, we have pulmonary circulation. The word pulmonary is explicitly used for the lungs, so this is the specific loop where blood goes to the lungs for purification. On the right side, we have systemic circulation. The word systemic refers to the total system of the body. This is the loop where the pure blood travels through the aorta to the different body organs. 2 specialized loops working together in absolute perfect harmony.
Which brings us to a fun question I want to leave you with today. Your heart continuously powers this double loop without you even thinking about it for a single second. What will you do with that energy today? Because right now, as you watch this explainer, millions of drops of blood are rushing through your vena cava, getting purified in your lungs, shooting out of your aorta, and converting your food into the energy you are using right at this very moment. It is a tireless, beautifully structured system keeping you alive right now. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this source material. Keep learning, keep seeking out clear explanations, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.